What have you seen from Robert Moore in the work that you've had within the last couple of weeks?
Pretty much what I thought. Very steady defender. Obviously he's very young, but he knows the game. He grew up with the game. I think he's feeling his way along a little bit as far as trying to get to know people. He doesn't know our pitchers' names and maybe some of our outfielders' names. He's hanging out with the infielders. As far as the baseball part of it, I think that's probably where he's most comfortable right now. He looks like he belongs. I think he's done a good job. I think the players, kind of get it now that they've seen him play, that he can definitely help us.
What's on your to-do list? What's important to you to get started here?
Well, we've got to get our bullpen lined up and how we're going to handle that as best we can, and I think that's going to play itself out, obviously, like always. But last year when you think about it, we kind of knew where we were at with the bullpen and with one starter. This year we kind of know where we're at, maybe with a couple of starters and some guys really working and throwing the ball extremely well to get that other spot. Or maybe other spot or two, because you have to consider Tuesday is huge as well, especially with this schedule. But we've got to figure out how to handle that bullpen and how we want to finish games, because as you know, a lot of games are won and lost in the 8th and 9th, and we don't want to let them slip away.
I think that's on the coaches play. You guys are number 5. What do you think about that? I mean, supposedly the coaches are pretty smart guys, right?
I don't know about that. Yeah, most of them are pretty good. I think with a little bit of everything goes into that with the coaches. Obviously, they're supposed to do their homework, and they look at who's coming back, who's got the experience, who did what the previous year or two, and I think they felt like that. We got a couple of young pitchers that are now sophomores with normal development. They should be better if they're healthy than they were last year. Take that in consideration, and then the fact that we have some starters back. We have an outstanding catcher, a couple All-American, preseason All-American players, and we filled in pretty good with a couple others. And it adds up to being very competitive. Are we 5th best team in the country starting out? Who's to say? And I guess it really doesn't matter. It's like I tell the players all the time, it's fun being recognized, but really, bottom line, it just makes team play a little bit harder against you, and you got to show up every day and play well, or you'll get beat.
With Moore coming in, kind of how did that shuffle, the infield around?
Well, it put, it probably puts Nesbitt back at third, which, if you look at his stats defensively last year, is incredible. The kid made 4 errors at third base all year. That's unheard of. Made some great plays. I mean, you think about the last play he made here against Ole Miss. Obviously, the game was in hand, but that was an incredible play. And then it takes Cole Austin probably over to first, and he's had a lot of experience at first. He played there at Arizona State. He played there all one fall there like every day, and he's looked great over there. The problem is Goodhart's shoulder is not near ready to throw. Defense has been fine fielding the ball. But, he will be our DH starting out until that shoulder gets better. Then we could go from there.
That puts Kerstad back in the outfield.
Yeah, but Heston could play first, too. He would be, as of right now, I mean, he could be our guy we could put over there because we've got some good outfielders, and there's a couple that are trying to get in that lineup. And, if we had an injury or somebody was slumping a little bit, we could definitely put him in at first base and he'd be fine. He's still taking reps over there, but he's our starting right fielder.
Is there extra pressure on a draft year for guys like Kerstad and Martin, having the accolades and then knowing this is their junior year to turn?
I mean, it is. But it's all self-inflicted. They've got to learn how to handle it. We've talked to them about it. We've been talking to them about it. We talk about it all the time to the team so they can hear it when they're freshmen. The stress of the junior year, and this is a year they've been working for to try to make a little more money or get a chance to be drafted or drafted high. And then the people are talking about you and picking your preseason, this and that. It's just human nature to be a little bit uptight. There's been many a time we've had to call a junior up into the office and say, hey, you got to calm down. And really what I tell them is you just treat this semester of your junior year like any other year. You get up every day and do the same thing. You know, don't miss class. Go to class. Just stay on routine, and it'll all work out. If you start stressing out or thinking I need to get more sleep and I'm not going to class, and it snowballs on you. And just stick with routine. Do what you've been doing, and it'll all work out.
You mentioned Goodhart.
Conversations. Go ahead.
You mentioned Goodhart already. How's Martin doing? Are you healthy otherwise?
Yeah, we're pretty healthy right now. I would say right now, Goodhart does have a little issue with his hamstring. It's the same one from last year, but he's going to be fine. And then Vermillion, he tweaked his hamstring pitching, which is very unusual. He's gotten really big and strong, throwing the ball extremely well. But he won't throw this weekend coming up. We're going to skip him and try to get him ready for next weekend. But other than that, I would say we're very healthy at this time. And you know, I guess the good thing with this team compared to last year's team is we couldn't afford any injuries last year. We were very thin. We had just enough position players. And pitching wise, you know, we had a little depth. And if a guy went down, we usually had somebody step it up. And by the time they got back, maybe somebody else gets banged up a little bit. It's just, you know, it's just the way the game works a little bit. But we're in pretty good shape right now.
What kind of conversations, if any, do you have to have with pitchers who have to take a bigger role, whether it was the Saturday, Sunday guy moving to Friday or somebody who didn't pitch last year going to the bullpen?
Well, I don't think there's not a lot of conversations from me. Coach Hobbs probably has more of those during bullpen sessions and you know, maybe groups, you know, group conversations if we've got to have guys step up and take a spot. I think the pitchers know right now that we have two guys that are going to get the ball first, and that third spot's wide open. And you know, you could go on who might get it, but we play a lot of midweek games early. We play really good teams, you know, OU midweek games, Gonzaga 4 games. That's going to stretch your pitching a lot. So guys are going to get an opportunity, and it'll work itself out.
Do you know those first two guys, what order you're going to put them in?
I would say probably Nolan will throw game 1 right now, and Wicklander game 2, and they both looked really well, you know, really good so far and done really well. So I don't think, I mean, obviously they both want to pitch first. To me, they all count the same. So it could flip around, but I'd say as of right now, that's probably what you'll see right out of the gates. And you know, you look at Eastern Illinois has a big-time arm. I mean, he's 95, 96, 97, and he held us down last year. Now he's a junior, so he's a guy that's going to be a good draft. So it's going to be a really good challenge, that first ball game.
This is the first time in several years you've had the same pitching coach, hitting coach, and volunteer coach from one year to the next. I wonder how much different is that maybe in off-season field?
I hadn't really thought about it, but it does make a difference with the players, no doubt. Just, you know, them feeling comfortable. You know, I've had Nate here. This will be his 3rd year. He's done a tremendous job. You look at the numbers over the last 2 years, and we're in the top 2 and 3 in just about every category across the board, especially some of the big categories like batting average and on-base percentage and home runs and doubles. And then, you know, Matt coming in last year just did a tremendous job picking up where Wes left off. And it's hard. The kids really took to him quick. And we're very fortunate that we had an experienced catcher. And when I say experienced, he didn't catch much the year before, but mentally he's a very experienced kid, you know, in Opitz. And we just turned it over a little bit to Opitz to let Matt really worry about, you know, teaching the kids what he wants on the mound. And you know, Casey really handled a lot of the pitch calling and things like that. So it was, I'd say we're a little more comfortable as far as just the way we feel about each other. We know what we're going to get.
Obviously, you've got Opitz. How do you handle your backup catchers, and are you working to let out at first base right now?
Yep. Yeah, we're, you know, obviously Opitz is the guy, and one of the best catchers I've ever had, and I've had some good ones. And then, you know, Tomez and Tollett will battle it out a little bit there, and also working Cason out at first. He's got some power, and he's a big kid. You know, when we recruited him, he was a lot smaller, and he had a little bit of an arm injury, and I think it threw him back a little bit. And you know, Tomez is, you know, he's a pretty steady guy. Kind of we've seen what we thought we were going to get, and I think it's been a good battle. Both of them have a good enough bat to get in the lineup right now a little bit. So. You know, in our first 3 weekends of scrimmages, they'll catch a little bit, and Tomez may DH a little bit or play in the outfield, and Tollett will catch and play some first.
Dave, you said you could go on and on at the third pitcher, but who all are we talking about? How big?
I brought my list, so I'm going to look down a little bit because I don't want to miss anybody. I mean, when you look at it, Cops could be a starter. Bolden, if we can get him back, I mean, he's now up to about, I think his bullpen the other day was, velocity-wise, was 89, 90, and there's more in there, a lot more, because a month ago he was 85, 86. It just keeps climbing. He's throwing nothing but strikes with a really good changeup, and his arm action you'll see is a lot shorter than it was before the surgery. I think it's really helped him with command. You could also look at a couple of freshmen, Blake Adams. He's been really good, so excited about him. Seems Cole Ramage could start him if we wanted. There's a couple other guys in there that, Caden Monk, really good. We don't hit him very well. His thing as a freshman, he didn't throw enough strikes. Now he's throwing strikes. But batting average against we don't hit him, and I'm thinking we have pretty good hitters. So, there's 5 or 6 guys right there. And if they're not starting, they're going to be middle long relief. And, if we need to close with one of those guys, we will.
Do you think you have a good idea for who your closer would be, or what?
I mean, you could probably take 1 or 2 of those guys. I think Vermillion, if he's healthy, he has a shot to help us there. And he wants to pitch more innings, but he's got to stay healthy. You know what I mean by that? He doesn't just want to throw one hitter here and an inning there. But if he's the guy and he can come in the 8th and give us 6 outs or the 9th, whatever, I don't have a problem with Peyton Pallette, who's a straight-up freshman too, because he can come in and he's curveballs as good as anybody's. And he throws the ball anywhere from 93 to 95, and there's nobody in the stands. When it warms up and the place is jumping and his adrenaline's going, there's going to be more. I think Adams could be a guy too. I mean, he's pumping the ball at 93, 95 every pitch inside. And, those are just young guys. And you take some of the older guys with some experience, and Jacob Burton is now throwing just about everything he has over the plate. And he's the one that's been up there to 98 miles an hour for us. So, his issues, he's got to get that secondary pitch going a little bit because, as you know, these hitters, after a while, they don't really care how hard you throw it. You got to have something to fool them and trick them a little bit, and then it comes down to location. So we do feel like we have some good arms and some options, but we're going to, it's just going to take some time. I guess I didn't even mention Elijah Trest. I mean, he's throwing the ball 95 miles an hour with sink, and again, if his secondary pitches comes on, I have no problem closing him either. So we're going to run some good arms out there at some people, and I will just see who can handle it.
Just competitively and financially, how big an advantage is it to be in the SEC as opposed to the Big 12 or some other conferences?
Well, the competitiveness of our league is top to bottom. There's not a better league. Now, it doesn't mean the leagues aren't great. I mean, the Big 12, you take their top 5 or 6 teams, same with the ACC or West Coast or wherever you want to go, the teams are good. Ours is just deep. It's just so deep. And then the financial part of it and the competitive part, kind of finishing that, it helps us in recruiting because a lot of kids want to play in our league. Because the ones that are really confident, as they come through the organizations, the kids talk and they're saying, I want to play in the SEC. And so it gives us a little bit of an advantage there, but we still have to beat out other schools to get those guys. And then the crowds that we draw, and especially in our division, the Western Division, I mean, there's seven teams in our league, and I think 5 of them are like 1 through 5 in attendance, which is amazing. You look at LSU and Ole Miss and Arkansas and Texas A&M, and I mean it's just amazing. And so there's money being generated. We're being able to fund our own budget and make a little money. So that helps us get things. When we're bringing in some. And then lately with us, with the success we've had, our fan base has doubled and tripled over the last 10 years, in my opinion. And, now we get to build a new building. It's really going to be, the center of it is all about the players and their development. Obviously, there's going to be some more seating for some fans, but it's going to help in recruiting. It's going to help us get better as well. So it all adds up.
Back to more just the dynamic of having a guy that should be getting ready to play his senior season in here, just trying to fit all that in and fit in with the team and you guys,
Yeah, I mean, it's like I told the players, I said, y'all know his name. He doesn't know your name. There's too many for him to figure out right now. It's to the point where they need to encourage him and realize that he's probably a little nervous. He doesn't know anybody. He's a new guy. It's like if when you move as a kid and all of a sudden you're at a new school. That's kind of the feeling he's got right now. It's not real comfortable. But where he is comfortable is out on the baseball field, and it'll take time. And we discussed all this with him when we were in the middle of this. We were trying to think about him and not selfishly just about making us better, but how's he going to be able to handle it? Can you handle this? And can you handle that? And I'm sure he's had a day or two or where he's a little homesick or he's thinking, is this the right move? But when we start playing games, I think he's going to realize this is right where he needs to be.
Is he the first guy you brought in early like that, and do you think that could become more of a trend for the top end guys?
It's the first guy that I've brought in. Now, has it happened in our league? It happens. I'm not going to say a lot, a couple times, maybe a year. If you look at South Carolina's done it, I know that Florida's done it, and North Carolina's done it, and a lot of times it's someone that maybe is going to be a backup catcher, but also get some, with the catcher's a big-time recruit, and he's getting ready to be their guy the next year. In this case, we brought him in, and wouldn't have brought him in if I didn't think we could get him in the lineup or he couldn't get in the lineup and stick. So he's still got to earn it, but he's working hard to do that, and, we feel like that he's definitely going to help us.
How do you rate your outfield depth kind of at each
It's
spot?
pretty good. We've got obviously Kerstad and Franklin, and then Webb, who you really didn't get to see, will probably be our left fielder.
So you see
And
his shoulder over
yeah, he's good to go. I mean, he may hit leadoff, he may hit in the middle of the order. Franklin kind of the same way. Franklin's really been swinging the bat well, and we've Zach Gregory, who we redshirted last year, brought him in as an infielder. He's doing both. Been really tough out from the left side. He's got a lot stronger. Had a good summer. Curtis Washington he's improved. I mean, he's gotten better and better, and I think I'm leaving somebody out of there, but it's just if somebody needs to have a day off or is struggling or have a little issue, I don't feel like we're going to lose a whole lot. Obviously, Kerstad goes down. That's a guy with a ton of experience and a lot of power. But as far as the other guys, you can kind of plug a guy in that's going to be fine.
What about thinking through the lineup a little bit? You touched on leadoff, but where do you see the big guys going? And I don't know, how do you envision?
Yeah, I think Heston, there's a real good chance opening the season he'll be hitting second. And then we need to put somebody behind them that can cover him up a little bit, protect him. So in my opinion, right now it's Goodhart. And then fourth, we may just put Casey in the 4-hole because Casey likes to swing, just let him swing. And, the crazy thing about Casey, he's really worked on his bunting. And they play him all over the place. I think you're going to see him drop some bunts down, do a pretty good job with it, whether he's pushing it or dragging it. He could go there. Cleanup's cleanup. It's just a spot in the order. Just trying to mix and match a little bit. I think for those of you that have kept up with Casey Opich, you've seen that he's gotten a lot bigger and stronger, and ball's coming off his bat a lot differently than it has. We could hit him fifth. We could hit him sixth. Franklin can be in that mix right in there. I mean, Franklin is a much improved player, especially on the offensive end, and I think you'll see him run a little bit more this year. So those two may be right in there, 5, 6, and that would probably give us an opportunity to put Cole Austin down the order a little bit, and he's a good hitter. I mean, he could hit 3, 4, 5 for us as well. And then probably more Nesbitt, 8, 9, somewhere in there, flipping him. Just depends. See how that goes. If that was your starting lineup. But I think really you're asking about the returners more, and I see those guys hitting, 1 through 4, 5, somewhere in there.
You're missing Casey like the swing. I think the off-speed breaking ball stuff was.
It's gotten better. Gotten a lot better. Just reps. I think that's always going to be a work in progress for him and a lot of young guys they just want to hit. They want to swing and hit, and I think. He'll get another 200 or 300 at bats this year, and when he gets into pro ball, he's going to get, in a full season, he's going to get 400, 500, 600 at bats, and it'll work itself out.
Saw the video they posted today, I guess it was, handing out the World Series rings. No, obviously that never gets old, but you want to hand out the big one. Is that the kind of the final, okay, this was the end of last year, now we're moving on officially?
Yeah, and that's why, we took a while to get them ordered this year, just because, we got back from the World Series, we didn't even think about getting a ring. We just went recruiting, and some teams, maybe they go to the World Series and they've ordering it while they're there, and we just went back to work, and all of a sudden September's here, and we're like, man, we got to get this ring ordered, and it is a big deal, but to us, it's about getting the gold ring, getting the gold trophy is what we call it. We got a silver, and we got a couple ones in this program, and we're trying to move one step ahead. So we got a little bit behind on ordering that thing, and I've always said we got to get that thing here and get it. We got to, before the season starts, get it to them, and it is. It's just kind of like, okay, that was that. Thanks again. What a great year. And now let's move on to 2020. So I'm glad that they came in.
Hey, Dave, with the pitchers and hitters you have, how competitive are practices, and how good is that for both sides?
It's the best. It's the best. That's what you want. You want competition amongst teammates. You want them to like each other, get along, care about each other, say whatever you want to say. But it's all about that inter-team competition to get on the field, and that keeps them working hard every day. It keeps them sharp. When they get out of their car or truck in that parking lot, they're walking in the locker room, they're going, oh, I got to try to beat out that guy again today. And if you do that, it makes the competition on the field slow down a little bit. And what I mean by that is it's almost like routine. And when you line it up against a team with a different uniform on and they have great players, you've been doing that in practice every day, and it makes it better.
In the coaches poll yesterday, there were 6 SEC teams in the top 10, 9 ranked. South Carolina and Tennessee weren't too far down the receiving votes. So I wonder what you think about the league, and maybe in particular the pitching, because it seems like the pitching is really deep this year.
It seems like, we talk about it every year, and it sounds like a broken record. The league just stays the same, okay? It's just good every year, and there's a lot of big leaguers in our league. They're going to play in the big leagues if they stay healthy and do the right thing. They're going to make it, a lot of these guys. And I think the pitching, there's a lot of huge arms. What I mean by that, when Georgia comes in here, the first 2 guys they're going to throw at us are going to be throwing 95, 96, 97, 98. They may touch 100, and they're going to be first-round picks. And I think about Tennessee and that lefty. Man, he's made a huge jump, and he threw 95 at us last year, and he's throwing more now. He's got 2 or 3 pitches. So that's just to name a few. We've got some guys. Everybody's got guys, and if we could get our scoreboard to read correctly, I wouldn't mind having it on. But half the time it doesn't read right. I don't know what we got to do, move it closer or something, because we're getting guys at 95 and it'll say 91. All of a sudden this will say 98 and we got them at 92. So we can tell from the side. When it jumps out of his hand at 98, 98. But it's just so competitive, and you can rank people where you want and you can make projections, but until we get on the field and the teams start gelling and playing, I think it's wide open.
There was a picture you on Twitter. I think Andrew might have posted. You were at the basketball game. It looked like you were having some fun when California.
I was just stretching my arm. I was a little sore. I was a little stiff in the game.
Have you gone to many basketball games, and have you gotten to know Eric? Kind of what's
Yeah,
your thoughts?
I've gotten to know Eric. I've been out to dinner with Eric a couple of times. I really enjoy being around him and his wife. And I've been to 3 basketball games. Those aren't my seats, by the way. I just want you to know that. Mine are way up there
I
somewhere.
would think yours would be pretty good.
No, they're not. I've never really asked to change them since I got them 17 years ago. Maybe I should. But,
Not a bad idea.
yeah, but we're during the season. We're playing all the time. I kind of feel guilty if I'm not at the game, and I don't want to snag somebody's good seat there. But, yeah, I enjoy the basketball games, and I enjoy being around Coach Musselman, and we're going to go to the game. Most of the way we're doing our practice tomorrow is to give the guys a chance to get to the game. I feel that's important. So I think all the coaches support each other pretty well.
I think that was a big hit, though. I mean, you waving goodbye.
Well, I was from me to you from him. When he was over there yelling, I read his lips. I knew everything he said, and it wasn't nice. And basically, in my opinion, he was trying to get thrown out of the game, fire his team up, and it worked. But, Yeah, he got after one of Fisher pretty good. He don't like him very much.
Yeah, Eric, I mean, what do you think of the job he's done and the excitement he's generated? Just a little basketball.
You guys need to rest. I mean, he's done a great job. What can you say? I mean, they're playing, man, and you know I mean, like everybody else, you see what's up. They need a big guy. They need a couple of them, and they're scrappy. When they shoot good, they're going to beat you, and if they don't, it's going to be tough. But I've enjoyed it. Nate, you have anything?
No.
I guarantee that'll be all over video and Twitter and everything. Everybody gets
Yeah.
on Nebraska, but everybody
Yeah.
will use it.
Anything else? Business.
If that stretch of the arm, that's a good one.